What's up, Ben Sheppard here, and welcome back to Runthrough TV. Let's meet today's guest then.
So I'm CJ Albertson. I'm predominantly a marathon runner for Brooks Running. So I've been competing with them like as a professional since the start of 2020 after the Olympic trials. I also teach and coach at Clovis Community College, like right in the middle of California. So that's a 2-year college, like cross country and track coach, and then teach PE and health classes. And then I'm married and have a baby that just turned 1.
As you've just heard, a very busy man. But where did CJ's journey begin? You don't just start with a 5:05 minute mile for 50k.
Yeah, in 4th grade. So I was 10 years old, and we had just cross country at our elementary school. Very just like a small like little season, but we have a team and practice after school. And yeah, the first practice, I pretty much loved it. And then the first race, I won, and I really like to win. Pretty much like the whole season, I just loved like every part of running and training, and just basically running as fast as I could. And just like the feelings of races were always really fun.
And he continued that love for racing as his education progressed, so did the distances. Until then, he finally got to his first marathon.
When I graduated, I basically took a year off from competitive running, and then I just kind of out of nowhere, I moved back to my hometown, and we have a hometown marathon in Fresno. So I just decided to sign up for the local marathon. I always intend to run fast because I'm competitive, but in training for it, I wasn't like trying to be a professional. I was just like, the millions of people out there that do a marathon. I just wanted to do a marathon. And then it went really well. I ran 2:17, running by myself the whole time. And then I just I really enjoyed it. So I kept training after that. Obviously that was in 2018 was my first one. And so I've been doing marathons since, and then I've done a few 50Ks.
Look, training was in no way new to CJ, but marathon training is always hard, isn't it? You'll know if you've run a marathon. So what was training for that first marathon like for CJ?
It was very natural, and I don't really know why. I ran more mileage. I think I ran around like 70, 80 miles a week in college. And then when I was training for my first marathon, I was like 110-ish, 110. But it didn't seem like it was a lot. Well, because the year that I wasn't competitively running, I was running about 40 miles a week. And then I had a few at like 60, and then I kind of just jumped to 100, 110. But it felt really natural. The training didn't really feel hard. And I was writing my own training, so I guess like I was comfortable with everything I was doing because I was the one coming up with it.
And in that first build was the first time CJ ran 50k as well, averaging a 5:45 minute mile. But when did he think, you know what, I could actually get the world record in this?
When I started with Brooks, like after the US Olympic trials, I think we had, because based on some of my training runs, they thought, okay, maybe I would do something with ultras. And so in my contract, basically there was bonuses for different ultra races that I probably wasn't going to do, but I didn't really know what I was going to do. I didn't know where my career was going to go. And so the 50K world record was like one of those things that was in there, just because we just didn't really know like what I was going to do. And so, when you're negotiating contracts, you're just kind of putting things in that kind of incentivize you to also do things. So that was like a big reason. I was like, oh, some of these ultra things are like the 50K is in my contract. And I can like get some bonuses if I can do well in them. And that world record seemed achievable. And then there also wasn't really any races because that was like during like the COVID time. That was pretty much how I got into 50Ks. And then my record got broken. And so naturally you reset it if someone breaks it.
2:38:43 is the new record held by CJ. What do you say about that? That is absolutely unbelievable for 50k. So how was the lead up to the attempt?
I'm running the Valencia Marathon on December 4th, so I was kind of just doing a normal, my somewhat normal marathon buildup leading up to it. because it was going to be 8 weeks before the marathon. So I'd done some long runs, and I'd done like some longer long runs. Like I did a 30-mile long run fairly fast. And so I knew I was in like pretty good shape, and probably good enough shape like to get the record. It was just going to kind of be dependent on like how I felt that day, and then kind of like the course, because I didn't really know the course. Well, yeah, I had never been to the course, and it had a little bit more undulation than I thought it was going to. And then it was also like the previous time I had ran it on a track, so like you're going to run the exact distance. But anytime you're on like a course, especially like a looped course, you're always going to end up running a little bit longer than the actual distance it says it is. So I was trying to figure out like what pace do I actually need to run like on my watch, like to set the record. Because if you run what it says it is, you're going to miss it by a couple minutes, because like you're always going to run longer. And the way the course was, there was like, if you took the tangents, you'd be running on dirt, and like you had to run long. And so I was trying to like calculate. It was impossible, but I was trying to calculate, okay, how much longer am I going to be running? And by the first loop, I could kind of figure it out. But that was part of my race strategy, was I just wanted to get out fast and kind of bank time, because I didn't know what pace I actually needed to run. Because like 5:04, 5:05 is different than trying to run exactly 5:09 or whatever the pace was for the record.
After averaging 5 minutes and 5 seconds a mile for 50k, you'd think the recovery would be substantial, but for CJ prepping for Valencia, yeah, not so much.
I drove from San Francisco to Sacramento that day, and then did a easy double shakeout run like after the drive. So pretty much I didn't I didn't do like a workout soon after, but I just kind of, for me it was really just like a lot of my long runs. I was a little bit more sore than like a standard long run, but yeah, I mean, it wasn't really like, it's not like racing where you're sprinting at the end and it's just like a pure all-out effort. For me, the 50k was able to be like, I mean, I was running hard obviously, and it was tiring, and I was sore, but it wasn't that like 100% peak effort that like really just drains you, like like racing Boston. Like I'm just way more tired after that than I am basically doing a time trial 50k.
He's a super interesting guy, CJ, and we actually delve in to the weeds a little bit more, get a little bit deeper in the full version of this chat, which you can check out on our channel now. But for CJ, what are his goals, his running goals?
I want to make the Olympic team, obviously, is a huge goal, which I think is achievable, and I'm going to be in the mix to do so. And like I want to, run like 2:08 or faster, and then eventually 2:06, and at some point in my life, like enter a race where I feel like I have at least somewhat of a shot at setting the American record. So just things like that, and like obviously those are really big goals. And I think it's just, yeah, it's kind of funny how like even when I say those out loud, like they seem like really big, but then at other times, like I'm like not even really concerned with like running. It's just like, oh, like, yeah, I'm just thinking about something else.
As you've already heard, CJ is a coach as well, something which he absolutely loves and takes inspiration from regularly.
With the alleys of the coach and like see every day, yeah, it's definitely like, I feel like you're naturally inspired most by the people that you're like closest to and that you see every day. And so like for them, it's like I'm just always around them. I see all their things. I know like things going on in their life, but like they're still like competing and very competitive and like achieving like really high things. And so, yeah, I mean, like a lot of my motivation is like coming, or not motivation, inspiration, I guess, is just like coming from things they do. And it's, yeah, like there's been so many long runs where like I've just been so like almost the whole long run, like I've just been like excited from like something they've done, or just like thinking about like improvements people have made.
It's so cool to see CJ, a very talented runner himself, so passionate about other athletes. So I asked him to keep his coaching hat on and give you some advice. Maybe you're thinking about taking it up running, or you haven't run in a while. What would he say to you?
I mean, like most people say, like to try to be consistent, and then expect that like it's expect that like you're probably gonna find it weird that people think that running's fun and that like they just like enjoy this and keep doing it, because the first few weeks are gonna be kind of miserable, and like when you're not in good running shape, like I mean it just hurts, it doesn't feel good, your breathing just feels out of control all the time. It's just it's hard and then your legs always hurt, like everything just hurts.
And finally, I've told you CJ's running Valencia. What are his goals for that marathon?
I'm hoping to run like around 2:08 or just right around there, and we'll kind of see. I mean, we'll kind of see how the pace groups go and like how everything plays out. But I think right around 2:08 is within my range, and I haven't really feel like I haven't really overthought Valencia. I'm just like, I know it's a fast race, just gonna be good groups. So I'm just gonna get in and run, and hopefully the last like 10 miles, like I'm feeling good and I'm closing hard.
Absolute legend. Thank you so much to CJ for coming on Runthrough TV. Remember, the full version of this conversation is on our channel as well, so do go and check that out. Subscribe here on Runthrough TV as well, and give this video a thumbs up. It does help us out a heck of a lot. I'll catch you again very soon here on Runthrough TV.